right, let's get that top camera on. There we go. All right, welcome nerds to another live stream repair. We're feeling fantastic today. We got 4 hours of sleep earlier, so we're feeling refreshed and ready to go. Let's see, we've got 4 HomePods today to get fixed up. First one comes from Hotel with no power. And then we've got House with also no power. It's either How or Joao. I apologize. And then we've got number 3 from Nick with Death Farts. And then we're going to wrap today up taking another look at David's from yesterday where the bass would cut out. We weren't able to reproduce it on stream, but afterwards I reset it, I added it to my home, and I played some music on it, and we were able to reproduce the bass dropping out even after our repairs within a few seconds. So we're going to take his back apart, and we're going to replace the amplifier so that way we can get his pod back to him sooner than later. And that'll give us a little more time when we can to dig a little deeper into why that could be happening on their amp. We've seen this behavior a few times now, but I haven't quite cracked exactly what could be causing it. So, another challenge for us to solve. Alright, is this charged? Almost. We'll go ahead and just leave that plugged in while we're working here. And let's go ahead and open up our first HomePod here from Hotel with no power. There we go. Ooh, they still have the protective film on theirs. Good on you, mate. Okay, I just want to make sure it's still in good condition from the shipping over here. No damage. And I don't hear anything wiggling around when we shake it, so that all looks good. So this one's got no power, and given that, there's one way that we can, without taking it apart, kind of guess what could be going on here. Based on the power draw, that's usually how we can tell. So if it's not pulling any power at all, that's probably a blown fuse. If it's pulling 1 to 2 watts, it's probably a short on the logic board. And then if it's pulling 3 to 10 watts, that's going to probably be a short on the amplifier. And that last one, the short on the amplifier, is the most common case for these pods with no power. So let's go ahead and plug it in, confirm our symptoms, and check out the power draw. So yes, indeed, no response. And we get about 6 watts of power draw from the wall. So that tells us we've probably got the short on the amplifier. So let's crack it open, find out what's going on from the inside. We'll start with our trusty Jimmy tool from iFixit. If you're just starting out on your own HomePod repairs, I would recommend maybe some floss or a plastic credit card or something else to pry this plastic layer off. And you don't want to pry the layer off. Instead, rather what you want to do is you want to go around, like I am here a few times, cut through that adhesive that's holding it down. And when you go around it enough times, it should just pop it right off. You don't want to pry and bend this layer off because that's how you scratch and crack them. See that? It's almost want to come up, but it'll start to bend if it's still stuck down somewhere else. So we'll just go, and there you go. Then we can work on the display. We'll take the 4 T6 screws out. Oh yeah, I agree. The only reason why I don't recommend this for your first time is this metal here. I recommend finding something plastic. The metal here is very unforgiving. So get the technique down, get the practice and the feel for it, and then jump into the Jimmy tool with the metal on it. Unless you like to take risks. But that's my opinion. It's stinky, but it's mine. But I love my iFixit tools. And like Tim said, great company. So we're gonna get this display pried off now. Making sure we get under the right layers. Unlock that display connector and set that display to the side. We got a little cleanup here. We're just going to stick this adhesive back down. We don't need to take it off. And let's get that mid frame out. There's 4 T6 screws in each corner. And then there's the 2 bigger T6 screws holding the drawstring. We're going to push that mesh down just enough to allow us to pull that mid-frame out. Then we can flip that logic board around carefully so that we can expose our ribbon cable there, unlock it, and put that logic board to the side. Ooh, I'm already feeling a lot better today too. My ass was kicked yesterday with those, with the Tdap and the flu vaccine. I got them both at once, one in each arm. Felt like shit. I feel a lot better today already, so, and my arms aren't even sore anymore. Alright, so we're sliding that mesh down for the next steps here. We're going to go ahead and pull this ribbon cable off of its attachment to the basket here. Make sure that it's completely unstuck from the top before we move on. We're going to uncover our T6 screws for the basket. And we'll get those taken out. Tim asked, how much experience do I have with PCB circuit design stuff like outside of repair? Honestly, not much. I've kind of like barely dabbled in it. I'm not like a complete novice, but I wouldn't give myself any real like standing or knowledge behind it yet. I might know what you're talking about if you ask a question about something or ask for my feedback, but more than likely I may not. Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and pry this basket off now with our big fat flathead. Nice, nice. Very good. Coming up real easy. All right. Putting up a little fight here. Oh, but that wasn't too bad. Interesting. How did this get in there? How does that fit in there? There's mesh before it could get into there. Wow. How could this happen? Alright, just making sure the subwoofer still has a nice seal, so that means that we can reuse all these gaskets. And the subwoofer wasn't bent up in shipping. Okay, what was I grabbing? What was I gonna do here? Whatever. So here's our subwoofer. And let's look at the condition of it. If we look in the inspection window there, we've got a nice copper color on the voice coil in there. Still feels nice and smooth. And it smells great. So that subwoofer is in fantastic condition. Push that ribbon cable through. Get this next layer taken off. To expand a little bit on my answer to your question, Tim, while I don't have any experience outside of repairs, it is something that I am interested in getting more into. For the possibility of perhaps designing custom components as sort of drop-in replacements for the existing HomePod hardware as these age and as the software support inevitably perhaps completely dies, I'd like to continue to use these as a speaker because they are phenomenal speakers. That's kind of one of the main reasons why we do this. So I would love to design custom hardware that would basically just be a drop-in replacement that allows you to use these in a more analogous way, I guess you could say. Bluetooth, more open Wi-Fi protocols, and maybe auxiliary, and perhaps maybe even analog. I've already made one of those, but I got to figure out better crossover filters. Excuse me. Alright, let's get the power supply out. That's just 4 screws, one in each corner. Okay, let's unlock that connector in there. There we go. And let's see, is this magnetic enough now to do what we need? Oh, buddy. We might be in business. I don't know why this is suddenly magnetic. It wasn't before. But I can't complain. And with that, we are in. So, let's take a visual inspection real quick of our board. Our diode has a date code of 1746K on it, if you were curious. So when we go to test it, I think we all know what to expect. But everything else looks great. So let's check our Schottky barrier diode there. That's the part that most commonly fails and causes no power on these pods, based on that power draw. Gonna grab our multimeter. It's in resistance or continuity test mode there. And yep, that diode is dead. So let's get our iron and air on. Turn on, ow, ah, woo! Turn on our fume extractor. I have a HomePod that farts and reboots. It's from my mother. She died. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry about that. Rest in peace. Would be nice if it could be fixed. Yeah, death farts are very easily fixable. Shoot me an email and we'll get you taken care of. So, oh, and if you need my email address, it's nick@nicksfix.com, or you can go to my website, nicksfix.com, and I've got my contact info up there. Alright. Let's pull that diode off. And it's ready. There we go. We'll put that in the dead pile. Grab ourselves a fresh new one. There we go, new diode is in place. Let's put that back down. We'll give it a few firm squeezes, make sure it's nice and centered, and that's that. Okay, let's cool this board off just for a second in front of the fan, and then we will test it. Should be good. Let's grab a power supply. Actually, we're going to test with their... Oh no, we confirmed the diode was dead, so we don't need to worry about using a different power supply. But we'll go ahead and screw that into place so it doesn't pop out on us. Put that ribbon cable in there. Bum-ba-da-ba. Get all our parts put on here so we can power this amp on. And show me the money. Yeah, we got power. All right, let's just make sure everything, that the amp is working fine, there aren't any other issues with it. Excellent. So we've got sound, we've got less than 10 millivolts of DC offset. So this one is checking out fine and ready for us to put back together. Let's get that shell. We'll drop our amp back in. All right, let's see how well this works. If it can hold it, we should be good. Yeah, this is going to be real awkward. Oh, wow. Maybe not. I like that. It's a little too slow for me. I'm gonna have to get used to that. well, and here I go fumbling the manual. All right, we will reinstall our ribbon cable down there. Very good. Drop in our power supply. And then our ring layers. See this right here? That's going to keep the basket from sitting nice and flush, so we're just going to get rid of that little bit there. We'll put our logic cable basket back, logic cable gasket back in. Goodness. Very nice. It's time for our subwoofer. Is it still snowing? Oh goodness. Very good. Let's make sure it's all nice and sealed. Yep. So it's time for our top basket. Stick our ribbon cable back on. Screw the basket down. All right. Yay. All right, we're looking ready to go. Let's give it a test. There you go.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
All right. Hotel's HomePod checks out. So let's put that away. And let's get number 2 opened up with no power. Let's get our text updated on the screen. Excellent. Let's get this opened up. There we go. Yeah. All right, so same deal as before. Let's go ahead and double check our symptoms. No signs of life. 6 watts of power draw from the wall, so most likely the exact same thing that we just fixed up with Hotel's HomePod here. Let's get this taken apart and find out. Lovely. Excellent. I was going to say, we are in, but my throat decided to have other thoughts about that. All right. Looking around our amp here, making sure there's nothing obviously failed or broken. It looks good. Our diode here has a date code of 1748K, so I think we all know what to expect. Let's give it a test. Yeah, it's a dead diode. Let's get it replaced. All right. Let's allow that to cool down real quick. All right, that should be enough time for this to have cooled off. Let's see if it works. And there you have it. 2 for 2, baby. Any problems? Less than 10 millivolts of offset, and the sound is working just fine. So this one is ready to reassemble.
shower. I'm gonna take a quick shower.
Okay.
See, they must go charge her earbuds up so she can use them. Yeah.
right. There you have it. Let's check them out.
I'm having trouble connecting to
Very
the internet.
good.
I'm having trouble.
And very good. All good. So, Joao's HomePod is fixed up and ready to go. Set that to the side. And open up our third repair today from Nick. Cool name, by the way. Come on. All right. At some point in this HomePod's life, somebody paid $275.99 for this one from Best Buy as an open box deal. Nice. Does it say the date? January 5th, 2021. Nice. Ah. All right, so this one's got death farts. So what we're expecting with this one, with death farts, the filtering capacitors will be going bad and allowing too much DC voltage through the amp, which can result in a louder popping sound than we want to hear going in and out of standby mode. Popping alone isn't an indication of things going wrong, but it can be a good indicator of how severe things are getting. So let's plug it in and take a listen. Oh, hold on now. Yeah, death farts. It's not, it's boot looping. Let me double check my email here, but I'm pretty sure Nick here sent us a HomePod with death farts, not boot loops. I can't fix boot loops. Yeah, the usual issues. Farting HomePod then shuts down and reboots. So those are classic. That's a classic death fart. But here, it's just, yeah, like it shows the boot animation briefly for a second there and then goes away and starts up again. So unless there's physical damage under here, we're gonna unfortunately have to call this one a no fix. But let's go ahead and start taking it apart and pray that maybe we've got some physical damage under here that's causing this behavior. If not, then unfortunately, like I said, this appears to have bricked itself and gone into some boot looping behavior, and unfortunately we won't be able to fix that. But fingers crossed. Let's find out. It wasn't packed like crap, so I'd be pretty surprised if it got damaged on the way here. Well, that came off real nice. Okay. First thing, I want to try a different display. Because sometimes a broken or faulty display can cause this kind of behavior. And I might as well update the text on the screen here because unfortunately it's not even death farting, it's just straight up boot looping. Which isn't something I typically offer repairs for. If somebody emails me and they say, hey, can you fix my boot looping HomePod, I tell them unfortunately we can't because we don't have spare logic boards to replace these with. But let's see if it was the display. Nope. It's not the display. It's still misbehaving. Let's go ahead and tear it down a little more. We're going to try with a known good logic board. All right. So I don't want to see. I want to see this behave the same with a good logic board because that'll tell us that the problem lies deeper within, and the majority of the rest of the parts in here we can replace or repair. But if this works with our good logic board, then we'll know that their logic board is the fault here, and unfortunately we won't be able to fix that because we don't have any good logic boards to do that replacement. And there's no way to still to this day replace or restore the software on these boards. So, fingers crossed, folks. Oh, would you look at that? It's doing the same thing with our known good logic board. Well, that's a good sign. That's what we wanted to see. So, let's go ahead and continue tearing this down. We've probably got a fault somewhere on the amplifier, or perhaps the microphone simplicity board. We've seen those damaged in the past and cause issues like this as well. Okay, voice coil for the speaker looks good, feels good, and it smells good. So subwoofer is still usable. Okay. What's going on here? Let's do a visual inspection of the board. Everything looks okay. Yeah. So, let's go ahead and put on a different power supply with our logic board on this amp and see if the amp is working. Let's try to nail down where this boot looping behavior is coming from, because it's clearly not coming from the logic board. We popped in a known working logic board and it still did the same thing before we tore it down all the way. So we've got an interesting one on our hands here. Here's again our good logic board. We'll connect a good subwoofer. May as well watch for DC offset if this does happen to power on. And let's see. Okay, so it's powering on fine now. It could be the ribbon cable, it could be the power supply, or it could be the lack of the microphone board being plugged in. So let's unplug this, take a closer look at the HomePod shell here. What could be going on? Nothing sticks out. So let's go ahead and try their original power supply then. See if maybe that's what's the problem is. If it still powers on fine with their power supply and their amplifier, then we will, we're going to pull the microphone board out of their shell and see if that's what causes the boot loops on here. Okay, what have we got? Yep, it's the power supply for sure. Because that wasn't powering on. And oh god, I think I almost heard something pop, which is quite concerning. I hope we didn't fry anything, that would be strange. Let's go ahead and put a different power supply on here and just reconfirm that it works. We'll go ahead and use their logic board too, because I want to make sure their logic board is still good. Okay. All right, so there's definitely something wrong with their power supply here. Nothing smells amiss. Nothing looks amiss. Strange. We'll go ahead and make a note on this one and take a look at that at a future date. In the meantime, we've got plenty of power supplies sitting around that we don't need to dick around with this thing. We'll put it to the side, save it, and replace that with a known good working one.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
Alright, and we've got no DC offset either. So, interestingly enough, it seems like all of their issues were coming from the power supply this time. I don't think we've ever seen that before. That is very interesting. Okay. Well, we've got it apart, we've got it here, and we figured out the root cause of their problems. Let's go ahead and replace the Schottky barrier diode, that little part there on the amp that loves to fail and cause the most common no power issues. We're going to get that replaced just for preventative measures. And then we will put this HomePod back together with a known good power supply, and it should be good to go. For those curious, the diode has a date code of 1746K, so it is within that range of what we suspect to be a bad batch of these diodes. So it's a good thing either way, whether it's working or not, that we're in here and we're replacing it. I am puzzled by the overall behavior of that power supply failing. All right. And we don't need to worry about retesting that or anything. We know it works. We know it doesn't have any DC offset. So we can go ahead and start throwing this right back together. grab a power supply. A known good one. We're not going to use that one that I was testing with, of course, because, well, I test with it so much I don't want to give someone a heavily tested power supply. I've got plenty set to the side specifically for being able to replace them. Hey, Tim. Yeah, no, I don't have a backlog, actually. Well, I did take last week off. But yesterday's stream was the backlog from the last week. We only had 7. So, a lot better than I was anticipating taking a whole week off, but I took it where I had it. And today, these are just how many showed up just for today. So, that's why I strive to fix every single one that shows up the same day they're delivered and then ship them back out the next day, so that way we don't end up with a backlog. But I took a week off last weekend. We got 7 of them, but we got them all fixed up yesterday. Easy peasy. Well, most of them. We're about to take another look at David's here and do an amp swap on that one. Seven isn't even the most we've had show up in one day, let alone over the course of a week that I took off. There was that stream a few weeks ago where we ended up having 9 show up in one day. That was some intense stuff. I don't think I would ever ask for that again. Unless this was my only job. But I've got 3 jobs now. So daytime sales engineer, nighttime HomePod repair, and full-time dad. We just had our first kid last week. That's actually why I took the time off. The wife was induced on Monday. Baby came on the 15th, and the hospital made us stay there for a few more days. So we were there from Monday till Friday. Doing my repair streams so late ever since I got back. I've been busy. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Our first kid. Probably going to be our only one. We might wait till they're old enough and ask them if they would like a brother or sister for us to adopt. We'll see. But that'll be our only biological kid. It's a girl. And her name is Chell. Like the main character from Portal. Oh, and here we go. We've got Nick's back together, and it's powering on without a problem. So, it looks like we got that one all fixed up. We'll wait for that to boot up, and we'll just sanity check.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Very nice. Volume buttons light up nice and even. So Nick's pod is fixed up and ready to go. Awesome. Okay. So we've got David's HomePod from yesterday that we need to take another look at. It had an issue where the bass was cutting out, but we weren't able to reproduce it yesterday. Once we got it back together, factory reset, and started testing it, we were able to very quickly reproduce the bass cutting out. So what we're going to do is harvest an amplifier from another HomePod that I've had sitting around for parts, and do the old switcheroo, and they should be good and ready to go on their way. I'm going to have a sale soon, folks, just as a heads up. I'm going to have a big sale soon for some tops, some meshes. I know a lot of people have been asking for me to sell parts, and generally I don't. But once in a while I can accrue enough spare parts that I don't really need all of them, so we will throw a few up for sale here soon. You know what time it is, folks? It's time for some coffee. Grab a drink. We'll be right back. Almost done. Coffee. A life-saving elixir. All right. Can you? I don't know what my Venmo email is. Let me look. Wait, why are you Venmoing me? Oh, cool. I do have Venmo. What's my email on there? My Venmo username is Unbendable Straw. I'm not sure what my email is on here. As my dad always says, it's just money until you don't have any, and then you're fucked. I appreciate it. Baby. That's going to be my reasoning for a lot of things moving forward. 'Cause baby. Okay, so before we just slap this amplifier into David's HomePod as a replacement, we want to just sanity check things here. Make sure that the amp doesn't have any outstanding issues. And then once we've confirmed it looks good, we're just going to replace that Schottky barrier diode on there, just for good measure. And then we will pop it into David's pod. But let's just make sure this amp even works. I pulled it out of a HomePod that had blinking volume buttons. So I'm not expecting this to have any amp issues, but you never know. You never know what kind of issues it had leading up to the blinking volume buttons, you know? So, let's see. Alright, so it's powering on. Okay. Nice. So we've got less than 10 millivolts of offset, and the sound is working just fine. So this amp is perfectly good to reuse. Let's get that diode replaced, and then we will pop it into that pod. Alright, I'll go ahead and show you guys a picture of me and baby here. I'm probably not going to post anything on social media because we're just weird like that, but could not resist doing the matching outfits. Could not resist. Oh, no, we're not putting this back in here. Silly me. Silly me. Let's put this shell away since we were just using this for parts. And let's grab David's. And actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and stop getting ahead of ourselves here and replace that diode. Bruh. Holy shit, Tim. My guy. We gotta grab a beer or lunch or something sometime. Thank you. Well, that actually works out. That works out really well, because I'm not sure how much time I'll have these next few months with, cuz baby. Cuz bubby. Spubby. I got lots of good nicknames for the child. You got Chell. Chell's her name. And I like to call her Chelly Bear or Chelly Bean. She's gonna be watching my live streams years from now. Embarrassed. And to that I say, hi Chell, I love you. I always will. Okay. That amp is ready. Let's get David's HomePod taken apart so we can put that amp in there. This will be a breeze since we already took it apart once. Whee! Oh hey, there's the rest of the string. Hell yeah. All right. We're going to make a note on this board and then set it to the side so we can investigate the root cause of this in the future. Set that into the pile of projects to be explored eventually, one day. Let's go ahead and pop that fresh board that we just fixed in. about this weekend was having dinner with some friends, and it was the last hurrah. We spent all day putting in new insulated garage door for them. What do you... A last hurrah? Oh, no. Oh. Oh. Oh man. It was the same, actually, it was the same for me. Right before we took our time off and went to the hospital for Kira's induction, I spent some time with a couple of my friends, and we got some curry, and we just hung out at my place for a bit. That's what Evan and I like to do, is just, we don't really like to go out and do a lot of high energy activities. We just like to hang out and dick around with stuff and shoot some shit. But I don't know, cause I really want my friends to come over and, you know, see the baby and hang out and what have you. It's not the most exciting thing in the world for a lot of people, especially people that don't have and don't plan on ever having their own kids. But I also don't want to close off to all of my friends either, just because I had a kid and I gotta spend as much time as I can with them. There's nothing stopping me from inviting my friends over and hanging out with them with the kid, you know? So long as everybody's up to date on their vaccines and such. That's actually why I got my Tdap and flu vaccine yesterday. Was because my Tdap just expired, and I hadn't gotten the flu one yet. So. Spirit Island. I've never heard of that before. Let me look it up. Oh, board game. Ah. Interesting. I don't play very many board games. A thematic cooperative game about defending your island home from colonizing invaders. Ooh. Oh man, I can't wait to play Uno with the kid. Completely own them. I will show no mercy, be it blood or not. I will show less mercy to that kid in a game of Uno than Stuntman shows a late 90s to early 2000s Panther body when he throws it into reverse. Give that back. You can't keep that. And she gone. Oh no. This is a disaster. Alright, David. Today's your lucky day. Because you're getting a free mesh replacement here. I believe. There's just nothing I can do about this now that the drawstring is just completely gone. Maybe. Actually, let me see here. Actually, we might be able to get away with it. Let's see. Hell yeah, no drawstring required. Oh, sorry, my fat head is blocking the way again. Okay. Let's see if you are ready to go back home, little guy.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Very good. Hey, quit playing games with me, Siri. Play music.
One moment.
No. Alright, volume buttons light up nice and even. Let's go ahead and just quickly test. The bass is not cutting out still. Well, folks, pending some further testing tomorrow morning when folks aren't sleeping, we're going to go ahead and call this one finally fixed up. No more bass cutting out. We got that amplifier replaced, and that is just about it for today. If you guys have any questions about HomePod repairs or anything that we've done here today, feel free to drop a comment down below. If you're looking for more information on doing your own HomePod repairs, I've got plenty of that up on my website, nixfix.com, under Common Issues. I've also got my contact info up on my website. If instead of trying it yourself or you get stuck along the way, you can send whatever you've got in, and we'll take care of it for you here on the stream. Tim said, I used to think that caffeine didn't affect me. Oh, dude. No, that is 100% true. Kira, my wife, stopped drinking caffeine when she got pregnant, and it was a night and day difference for her. I am unfortunately a little too addicted to it at the moment, but I am trying to cut it out. But your advice is sound, and it's good, and I appreciate it. And I will try. Thank you, Tim, and thank you all for joining, and I'll catch you nerds in the next one. Goodbye!